Many of us think that to achieve success, we need to do extraordinary things. However, the reality is, even in case we do ordinary things in an extraordinary manner, we would still be on the road to success. What we need to focus on is ensuring that whatever task that we undertake, be it big or small, we perform it or complete it with focus, dedication, sincerity, and try to be as perfect as possible. We may not be able to be absolutely perfect, however, we can definitely try to be as perfect as possible. It's all about incremental changes and incremental growth. We don't need to look at exponential growth or exponential gains because that's not too easy. What we need to focus on is the power of incremental gains. And towards that is very important this particular principle, which is called the aggregation of marginal gains. This principle of aggregation of marginal gains was popularized by Sir David Brailsford, who was the performance director of British cycling. So Sir Brailsford used to work with the British cycling team to enhance their performance and efficiency, because of which he was a key catalyst in their success, whereby this particular team ended achieving laurels for their country in championships and international events, including the Olympics and the Tour de France. So Sir Brailsford brought in this particular principle and ensured that he was able to implement it in a manner whereby this entire team derived a lot of success. So what is this particular principle, or what is the aggregation of marginal gains? Now, it's a very simple concept. What it focuses on is to break down the major tasks into smaller tasks and try to ensure that there is a 1% or at least a 1% improvement in each of these smaller tasks. So what Sir David Brailsford did, he brought out or broke down the various elements pertaining to cycling, since he was working with a cycling team. So he broke down the various elements, which could include the cycle by itself, the aerodynamics and the various other elements pertaining to the cycle, the sleep patterns and the diet of the team members or the cyclists, the number of hours and the quality of exercise that they did, the practice hours, and various other elements. So he broke down everything into smaller sub-elements, and he ensured that there is going to be small incremental improvements to each of these sub-elements. By doing this, he was able to increase efficiency, productivity, and performance. And when everything was put together, it led to exponential gains. So small incremental gains in various sub-elements led to fantastic exponential gains in the overall perspective. So this particular principle, also called the 1% principle, has since been implemented in various sports and also in organizations, as well as individuals have utilized this principle to get more effective and productive. Now, this particular principle of aggregation of marginal gains focuses on 4 dimensions or 4 pillars. The first is continuous improvement. So this principle focuses on the intent and requirement to continuously improve and consistently improve. Because if that is not the focus, then you cannot get the due gains from this particular principle. So focusing on continuous and consistent improvement is going to be the key. The will to improve, the initiative to improve and to get better at what one does, that's going to be the key. The second element is the holistic approach. Although this principle breaks down a large element into smaller sub-elements, the fact is the sub-elements need to be worked on to ensure that there is overall success achieved. So the holistic approach, by combination of breaking down the overall goal into smaller elements, working on improving those tasks, which in turn positively impacts the larger goal, that's one of the keys pertaining to the aggregation of marginal gains. The third element is data. So this principle doesn't just focus on jargon, philosophy, hearsay or judgment. It focuses completely on data. It tries to utilize the data, whatever is available, to ensure that there is an increase in productivity, efficiency, and also track progress and improvement. That's going to be extremely important. So data is the lifeblood pertaining to the aggregation of marginal gains. The final pillar or dimension is experimentation. So this principle tries to implement new ideas and approaches to find a better, faster and quicker and more productive way of doing things. So the courage to experiment, to try something new, to implement a novel or revolutionary idea, at times even failing and learning from that particular failure or mistake, that's going to be the key. So there should always be the courage to experiment. For example, if the voyagers who were able to find out new sea routes, in case they had this fear that what would happen in case they embarked on a perilous sea journey several centuries ago, then I'm sure several sea routes and several countries would have not been discovered. The world possibly would have been a very different place today. So understand that the courage and the tenacity to experiment and find out new ways of doing things is going to be the key. So now the aggregation of marginal gains. We spoke about the 4 dimensions. The point is we can try to implement this particular principle and the various dimensions in whatever we do, regardless of whether we are a working professional, self-employed person, business leader or entrepreneur or whatever else we do. In case we implement these elements, I'm sure we would definitely be on the path and achieve exponential success. For those of us who are working professionals or entrepreneurs, what we need to do is break down various elements of what we do. Try to positively impact our skills, our talents, capabilities, competencies, whatever else we need to work upon to ensure of our growth and success. Take each of these elements and try to bring about slow incremental growth. You don't need to try something exponential. Keep working. Understand that even going slow, however steady, will take you to success. You do not need to run fast, or as they say, run fast and break things. That is not necessary. You go slow and steady. Work on various elements pertaining to yourself. Try to ensure that you become more efficient and productive. And small, even 1% positive change, that can positively impact the overall possibility of success of yours. So my best wishes to you, please do consider implementing the aggregation of marginal gains or the 1% principle. And by implementing continuous improvement, holistic approach, data and experimentation, I'm sure that you would succeed and definitely take your name and glory to the next level. Thank you very much for your time.